YouTube, welcome back to Wtf Rc Cars. So we got a new update out for the Flysky NB4. So basically what we're going to have to do is get the update, and we also need the backup software. So basically that's what address you want to go to. And then once this loads up, we need to be gonna flagship NB4. And then you want to scroll down to download and upgrade. And then it does warn you here that if you've got an older version of software, so basically 2.0.79 or earlier, you cannot copy your data back. If you're coming from 0.83 or 0.85, you can use the Flysky Assistant version 1.1 to copy your data back, and then you'll be able to restore it afterwards. It does go on to tell you that you'll have to update the Rf firmware on the radio after the update's complete, and also you'll have to update the software on every one of your receivers as well. And there is different ways of doing this. Also worth note is tells you can use the voltage detection on the FGr8B and FGr12B. Does say on this one you've got to be careful of what cable you plug into where, so they're advising that if you're running the receiver off an ESC, to either tape up or cut off entirely the negative lead. But it does explain why, so it's worth having a read up about this. Basically it causes a dead short if you plug them in incorrectly. The positive and negative lead from that sensor is only designed for monitoring an external battery that is not connected to the ESC. So well worth reading up on what you need to do with that one. So we've got a few different versions of it. We have FCC version, gives you stronger transmit power, only legal in America, not legal in UK, so I'm sure none of you is going to download that one and install it in UK to get an extra 30 to 50 meter range out of your transmitter and sacrifice a little bit of battery life. But basically, first thing we want is download the assistant and tell it to download to your desktop. So once it's downloaded, you can always click show in folder, and then you want to right click and extract it. Once it's extracted, you want to click into it, go into it again, and then you want to double click on that one. And again, same as the earlier version, this will all open up in Chinese. Click that one and it'll change it to English. And then you quite literally need to connect your NB4 via USB to your PC and just power it on. There's no modes to change or anything like that. You literally just have to power it up. What it'll do now, so it'll come up and it'll say successfully connected. If you click the check model list, that will read all your models off your NB4 as it's set up at the moment. Then you want to click export. Oh, sorry. Select all and then export. And then all I've done is on the desktop I've created a backup folder. Just backup Flysky, and that's my original backup from the earlier firmware. So we're going to click into that and let's have a look. Give it a date so we know when it's from, and then you'll see on here it's reading all the model memories, and then once it's complete, that's all your data backed up. Now if you want to check and make sure that it's backed up, if you go to load file, then go to the file that you've just saved, and then you'll be able to see them all here. And next we need to download the actual firmware. So we're going back to Flysky, and basically I don't need the extra range, but battery life comes in handy, so I'm going to download this one. And it'll ask you where you want to save it. So for me, I'm going to save it to desktop basically. So once it's downloaded to desktop, you want to double click on it. Right, so while the NB4 is connected to your PC, you want to go into System, scroll all the way down to the bottom, and you'll see Firmware Update. Then click Yeah. You'll see it reboot, and it'll go into Firmware Update mode. Right, once it's in that mode, it will read and it'll show you exactly what version of firmware you're on. So you can then click Update and you'll see a progress bar. Don't disconnect it while ever it's doing this. Until that says 100% and it says disconnect, do not disconnect your NB4, or else you've just bricked it. The status will tell you what it's doing, so it's erasing EEPROM chip and then it's reprogramming it now. And it's literally just a case of being patient and watching the percentage go up. Now if it's anything like last time, I believe when it gets near the end it speeds up, or it did do last time I updated it. And you want to use a decent quality USB cable with this, because you don't want this going wrong. I believe the NB4 came with one, but it was quite a cheap cable. And this is the part where you really don't want a power cut. I know last time I cut this bit out, but I thought this time it's probably worth leaving it in, just so people get a good idea of how long this takes. So you're not sat there looking when it freezes on one of the percentages for like a few seconds. You're not thinking, oh, I best unplug it, because you really don't want to do that. But yeah, not the most interesting thing to watch. And it's always a bit nerve-wracking no matter how many times you do this, because you know if it does fail, there's a pretty high chance that you've just bricked your controller. I had a quick read through changelogs though. It does look like it's added quite a few different features to it, and some have been what people have been asking for quite a while. Right, so as you see there, it shows that it's updated. And let's see if I can get you a shot of what is showing on the NB4. Now, basically what this does, once the update's completed, without you having to touch the controller at all, the controller will reboot itself. So you do, the very first time you power cycle it after the update, you do get this warning telling you you need to update the Rf firmware. and it will do it automatically. And as you see, we've got quite a few different options now on the what you actually have displayed on the screen. So I will do another video on what you need to do to go through and update all them. We will be having to update all the receivers as well, but if we go and have a look on the models, these should have all reset. So yeah, at the moment we've got them all reset. So what we need to do now is leave it on that screen. And then we need to go back to PC. And you want to go back to the folder that you downloaded, the Flysky Assistant. And again, switch it back into English. Then you're looking for your file that you backed up. Select all your vehicles. I think we have to read it first. Let's see if that'll do it. No. So do we have to select all them? Yeah. Basically what you can choose here, you can select one, and then you can select one on this side and choose which one it writes to. So if you want to make sure that they have all copied to it, you can close it, reopen it, and then you can get it to read your controller. So it'll show you what's on what. So if we have a quick look on the NB4 now, so basically it's now copied all my model memories back with all the settings. So that's the RF updated, and the next thing we need to do is update the receivers on every car and then rebind them back to the NB4 on the correct channel. So hopefully that's been useful for you. If we have a quick look through changelog, I think it's about the third or fourth one down. So I'll just hover on here for a while, so if you want to, you can pause it just to see what's on the changelog. But they have added a heck of a lot on this change. And there's quite a lot of fixes implemented as well. And it looks like the basically when you go to update the receivers, you've got two different types now. The new ones being the FGr4B, which I haven't seen, the FGr8B, which I've got, the 12B I've seen. I've not seen an FTR 8 or 12, and I must admit I don't know what a GMR is or a TMR. Never seen any of them. And this is just the notes on what I read out to you earlier about if you're on an older version you can't back your data up, but if you're on a newer version you can. So thanks again for watching Wtf Rc Cars. If you like and subscribe. Don't forget to ring the notification bell, and I'll catch you guys again next time.